I grew up moving around because my father was a military man. I enjoyed all the different places I lived, and actually found it quite difficult to adjust when my dad retired. It seems I've always had a sense of wanderlust. After finishing high school, and then college, I really was not ready to start working. I had just spent 8 years in the same state, and I was absolutely stir-crazy. I wanted to take a gap year, backpack around Europe, see the world. But the 2008 recession scared me, and I took the first job I was offered. I worked at the bank for 2 years. It was safe. I was safe, but I was so bored. I needed radical change in my life. It was then that a friend asked me, "What are you waiting for?" I didn't have an answer. So I hit the internet, and after a few weeks, had a teaching job in Korea lined up. I sold or gave away all my possessions that were not coming with me, and packed up my life. I experienced a lot of culture shock, but I loved it. Eating strange foods, learning a new language, navigating foreign lands, I loved all of it. I felt alive. I had a booming social life, and not an ounce of regret. I loved my new job too. Education in Korea is highly structured, so it was a good environment for me to work out all the kinks of my first year of teaching practice. But once I had it figured out, I was bored again. I had the travel bug. And South Korea is so close geographically to so many other Asian countries. Why not take 6 months off and backpack around Southeast Asia? I couldn't think of a good reason not to, so I did. That trip landed me in Shanghai, feeling another round of culture shock. But for the first time, I was experiencing the wealth gap in Asia. I worked for the very rich, yet lived among the very poor. I didn't love everything about China, far from it. But I did love my job as a kindergarten teacher at the international school. For the first time, I had complete freedom in my lessons and had so much fun teaching. It was awesome to see the impact on my students, not just stand and deliver a teaching role. It was such an amazing experience. I was completely energized to explore even more of the world. After all, if I can survive in China, I can thrive anywhere. So I set my sights on the most cultural Asian country I could think of, Japan. Culture shock again as I made my way through Tokyo. Such vibrance. I was entranced by the mega metropolitan world I was engulfed in, and I loved every minute, especially the first time I read and understood something in Japanese. My teaching job was easy. I was a professional language partner in a conversation school. I relied on my past experiences, and teaching was natural for me at this point. So I used the flexible nature of my job to travel around all the amazing sites in Japan. I had traveled so far, and yet it seemed like there was so much more of the world left to see. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to get off the backpacker trail. I reflected on my travels so far and decided to go tropical, and headed for Malaysia. This time, the culture shock was less romantic and more practical. Adjusting to living and teaching adults in a predominantly Muslim country was easy. Learning to live in a very rural, half-jungle, half-plantation sauna was not so easy. But again, teaching proves to be the most rewarding part of the experience. Training adults is so different from teaching children, but the impact is so visible. When my teachers take my advice and have a successful lesson, I'm not only impacting them, but their students as well. It feels like the end, though. After 7 years teaching abroad, I feel like it's time to move on yet again. This time, I'm compelled to start exploring my own country, a place that I have strangely overlooked. I do not have one defining moment or experience that has shaped my life. However, my experiences living and teaching abroad have come together as a powerful learning experience for me as a whole. Traveling has helped me find so many answers. Yet, this question remains for me. Teach to travel or travel to teach? I started teaching as a way to support my passion for traveling, but as a result, I have developed a passion for teaching. It seems impossible for me to untangle the two. Throughout my travels, I have learned that keeping an open mind to new experiences is a truly rewarding way to learn. Sometimes you have to forget your fears and do something that seems a little stupid, like moving to Korea or petting a full-grown tiger. With a long track record of getting off the path, I cannot say where my travels will take me. All I can say is that I go willingly, with open eyes, and hope that I never forget to take with me what I have learned along the way.